What up, guys? It's Grant's Comics here, and today we'll be reviewing Shazam number 33. Boom! I believe this is from 1978. I believe so. So this is the old one. I think I believe, yeah, I got this from the homie Tony a while back. I think it was a couple of months ago, maybe last year. But yeah, this is actually 1970. Yeah, 1978. So it's like late 70s, early 80s. And obviously, if you guys know me, you guys know that I love not only reading and seeing and having, providing these things in my hands, but I just love old school comics, you know? Either it's from 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or 50 years ago. It doesn't matter to me. If it's old school comics within 10 years or more, it's good, and I will love it. But I like older comics, you know. So I like comics that's like, obviously I love the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, but I like comics that's like that came out during the early 2000s, just like Spider-Man items that came out in the early 2000s, because that's what I'm more familiar with. But seeing these is pretty cool because obviously I wasn't around in the 70s or the 80s. I was a baby in the 90s, so seeing these kind of comics pop up now and then, just like I get to step into a time machine. And I know people who's been around this time, it's nostalgic for them, but for me, since I'm a young lad, I get to experience this in the current era, you know, just reading old school comics in the current era. So that's pretty cool. Versus if I saw a comic from the early 2000s, I'm like, hey, I remember that cover. I remember this book. Even though as a kid, I rarely read comics, but I've seen a lot of comic books as a kid. I just never got comics until I really maybe like mid-teens, like 16 or 15. So yeah, just around that time I got into comics, like in 2007. But I didn't have a collection as much as I do now. I had maybe 5 comics as a kid, and the whole million kajillion comics started when 2016 is when I really started collecting seriously. But anyways, not me stuttering. This is a cool comic. This is actually about his name is Mr. Atom. Yeah, Mr. Atom. He looks like a bullet. So Mr. Atom is one of Shazam's villains, I guess. I'm not really into DC that much. I don't know much about DC. But Mr. Atom is a Shazam villain. In this whole story, it's basically they're in Indianapolis. It's called the Indy 500, which is basically NASCAR with the race car drags. So it's like NASCAR, and Mr. Atom, he basically wants to race anyone who can take him down, and if that person loses to Mr. Atom, his car is it has radiation in the car, so I guess if he'll release the radiation if that racer who challenges him loses. He'll basically make polluted, and Shazam, or Billy Benson, decides to jump in, but he needs a car, so he calls into the other older Shazam people, say, hey, I need a car, please, I need a car that's fast that could defeat Mr. Atom. So they end up with a car that's red. I think it's like a model. I don't know if it's like a Ford almost, but it was red, and it has like a lightning bulb to represent Shazam. And the only way you can actually speed up is when Shazam has to turn back to Billy Batson. He has to get in the car and say Shazam. So when he turns into Shazam, Captain Marvel, the lightning turns into a rocket, which is kind of cool. So yeah, so there's stuff where he's okay, certain laps Mr. Atom will be in first place, and in the second lap Captain Marvel or Shazam would be in the lead, or third round Mr. Atom will be back again in the lead. stuff like that. And then Captain Marvel decides to, you know what, the only thing that will I can win this race is if I bump into Mr. Atom and I basically destroy his car. So that's what he did. He broke, and like on this cover, so you can see Mr. Atom's head, you can see his body. So he basically attaches himself to the body, and he becomes a full robot. And they basically start going at it. They fly into the air. They crash to a few buildings. So it's a very cool issue. It's very not much DC comics can really get me as far as awesome stories go, but this one definitely got me, especially when it was the whole setting was taking place in a race, a drag race, you know. So that's pretty cool. When I first saw this cover, I thought it's like a, well, from this point of view, it looks like a bullet, like a bullet head. But I read the comic and I read this issue and okay, this is actually a robot. So, but still, I'm still convinced that this is a bullet head. That's why he can detach himself, and you know, but that doesn't make sense. If this is a bullet head and you shoot yourself to somebody, wouldn't you explode? Because never mind. But I'm going physics here, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this is very cool. The shape of it is all right. I saw some few spine ticks. It's a little, there's a little like split. I don't know if you guys can see that because it is dark. I apologize. I don't know if you guys can. Alright, if you can see that over there. But other than that, it's a very clean book. So shout out to Tony for having this for me. This is Shazam number 33 from 1978, and yeah, that's all I wanted to show you guys today. So before I go, if you guys ain't subscribed to Grant's Comics and you guys are watching this video, make sure you just give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Grant's Comics, and share this video and the Grant's Comics channel to the comic book community. And if you guys are subscribed to Grant's Comics and you guys are watching this video, make sure you also give this video a thumbs up, and share this video and the comic book and this channel to the comic book community. And I'll see you guys hopefully in the next video. Alright.